to another Minute Microscopy. I'm Casey Rochford, and we'd love it if you'd like and share this video and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, you don't know what you're missing. This is an awesome place, kitchen sink microscopy. Anyway, I wanted to talk to you about a few reasons. There's way too many to do in close to a minute, but a few reasons why credit scores are completely bullshit. So let's start with a little history. Credit scores are fairly new. The whole concept began in the 50s with a guy named Fair, ironically, and a buddy of his. They ended up with this FICO score. Anyway, it wasn't until like the 1980s or so that the scoring even became a thing, and it's basically treated like it's been gospel truth for all of time. Let's put aside the fact that it's just a system for the rich to siphon money off the poor and siphon money off the rich that otherwise wouldn't use credit because they don't need to. But now they think, oh, the credit score is the golden standard. I have to have a credit score. I have to have credit. Well, there comes the interest money for the other rich people, probably richer than they are. First thing I wanted to talk about. The types of things that hurt your score are completely arbitrary. There's some things that make sense. If you don't pay on time, or if you completely stop paying, yeah, I can see that as being a problem that you might want to track. I'm not saying credit scores are completely stupid in principle, just the way we do it. You see, things like getting rid of debt, closing a card that you don't need anymore, something like that should be rewarded, not penalized. If you lower the amount of credit that you're using, they see that as a negative thing because they want more money from you. But your actual trustworthiness as far as paying things really should just be based upon making your timely payments and making the minimum payment that they've designated. That's it. If you have income to debt ratio that is a little too high for them, so what? Maybe you're going through a hard time. Maybe you used to have a higher paying job. Now you don't. Maybe you will again someday. But that brings me to the second thing I wanted to rant about. Checking the score hurts you too. And that makes zero sense. So you get hard dings on your credit score from things that you need, utilities and cell phones. And here's the real kicker, sometimes a job. That's right. Jobs, for some reason, are checking credit. Now, if you're applying for a position where you could easily skim off the top or something, maybe I could see that. But it really shouldn't be allowed for anything that has nothing to do with handling money, period. If they're using this number to judge your entire character, that really should be considered discriminatory practices, and it should be protected by law, honestly. That brings me to the third thing I wanted to talk about. How do we fix this problem? Well, ask yourself the question, if I'm being scored, is there somebody scoring the score? You see, in an age where we have things like Rate My Professor or Yelp, we have now taken the power into our own hands to say, oh, look, here's our review of a system that maybe looks down upon certain people or customers, based on their attributes or credit scores in this case, right? We need a score for creditors. And if you're going to have a credit score that's considered impartial, it needs to be handled by a third party, not by the same people that are handing out credit or, at least working in cahoots with those people. That is not impartial. So there needs to be a system that keeps interest rates competitive, actually competitive, like nowhere near the 20s ever. In fact, credit scores really should be parsed down to, okay, interest is only based upon income and your ability to make payments on time. If you've got a good payment history, but your score is pretty low, you should still get a low interest rate, period. I mean, otherwise, you would get stuck in this vicious cycle of being poor and constantly paying way more interest than people with more money than you pay. And how does that make sense? I mean, if you want more money, charge higher interest on the people that can afford it. I mean, they might not find that fair, but then they don't need credit. So just don't use credit, bro. I don't know. It makes sense to me if you balanced credit between a creditor and a creditee score and came to some agreement on how a line of credit should be handled. That makes the most sense to me. And that's why credit scores are bullshit.